Hello, and welcome to this quiet corner of the world. I am so glad you found your way here tonight. Before we begin our journey through the hidden wonders of our planet, take a moment to settle in. Adjust your pillows, pull the blankets close, and let the weight of the day begin to lift. If these calm explorations of our reality help you find peace, please consider subscribing to join our community of night travelers. Your support is a gentle light that keeps these stories alive, and I am truly grateful to have you with us. Now, let me invite you to let go of the world outside. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the air moving slowly in and out, a rhythmic tide that belongs only to you. As you relax, imagine the walls of your room fading away, replaced by the soft, velvet canopy of a clear night sky. We are not going far, yet we are going everywhere. We are turning our gaze toward the very ground beneath us, the air around us, and the life that hums in the silence. Earth is often described as a restless place, but beneath the noise of civilization, there is a profound, ancient stillness. It is a world governed by rhythms that have persisted for eons, the slow stretch of a root, the pulse of a tide, the silent drift of a cloud. Tonight, we will explore the facts of life that are not loud or demanding, but gentle and reassuring. We will look at the miracles of biology and the persistence of nature. Things that remind us that we are part of something vast, resilient, and beautiful. As we drift together, let your mind become like a calm lake, reflecting the stars above. There is no need to overthink, no need to memorize, and certainly no need to rush. We are simply observers in a grand, quiet gallery of life. From the microscopic survivors in the soil to the giants of the deep ocean, everything is exactly where it needs to be. You, too, are exactly where you need to be. The universe is holding its breath for you, inviting you to rest, to wonder, and to finally let sleep take hold as we begin our cosmic journey through the living wonders of our home. Chapter 1. The eternal bloom of the ocean. The journey of life is often measured in beginnings and ends, in the fleeting moments between a first breath and a final departure. But as we drift away from the noise of the surface, sinking slowly into the cool embrace of the deep indigo sea, we encounter a rhythm that defies the very definition of time. Here, suspended in the weightless blue, lives a tiny traveler, known to science as Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. Imagine, if you will, the vastness of the ocean. It is a world of constant motion. Yet here, in the stillness of the mid-water, there is a quiet miracle occurring that challenges everything we understand about the cycle of existence. Most life moves in a straight line, a singular path from youth to maturity, and eventually to the end. But the Turritopsis has discovered a secret path, a way to loop back, to return to the beginning, and to bloom once more. When this creature faces the hardships of the world, perhaps a change in the water's temperature, a lack of food, or the physical wear of age, it does not simply fade away. Instead, it begins a process so profound, it feels like something out of a cosmic dream. It begins to shrink. Its bell-shaped body folds inward. Its long, flowing tentacles are pulled back into its core, and its cells undergo a radical transformation. This is not a decay, but a deep cellular reorganization. It is as if a fully grown oak tree could shrink back into a sapling, and then back further still, until it became a simple, hopeful acorn once again. In the language of biology, we call this transdifferentiation. It is a process where one type of cell transforms into another, bypassing the intermediate stages of development. For the Turritopsis, this means reverting to its polyp state, a small, plant-like structure anchored to the seabed. From this quiet, grounded anchor, it waits. It rests in the shadows of the ocean floor, breathing with the tides, until the environment is once again welcoming. And then, from that same polyp, a new jellyfish buds and swims upward, beginning its life anew with the same genetic code, yet physically reborn. As you breathe in the cool air of your room, try to visualize this rhythmic pulses of the ocean. The jellyfish does not rush this transformation. It is a slow, methodical retreat into the self. It reminds us that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do when the world becomes too heavy is to turn inward, to simplify, and to return to our essence. In the deep blue, there is no ego, no memory of the previous life's struggles, only the persistent, quiet drive to continue. This biological immortality is not a loud or flashy triumph. It is silent. It happens in the dark, away from the prying eyes of the sun. It is a testament to the resilience of life on this planet, a reminder that nature always finds a way to persist, even when the odds seem insurmountable. The ocean is filled with these quiet wonders, these loops of time that exist alongside our linear lives. Consider the water itself. The very molecules that cradle this jellyfish have been here for billions of years. They have fallen as rain on primordial mountains, flowed through ancient rivers, and been part of the vast, shifting glaciers of the ice ages. Life is a passenger on this eternal flow. We often think of ourselves as separate from the world, but we are woven into this same fabric of persistence. The iron in your blood was forged in the same cosmic furnace as the minerals on the seabed where the jellyfish rests. In the stillness of the deep, gravity feels different. It is a soft suggestion rather than a heavy burden. You can feel that same softness now as you lie still. Let the idea of the immortal jellyfish settle into your mind like a grain of sand settling on the ocean floor. There is no urgency to grow, no pressure to achieve. There is only the beauty of being and the infinite possibility of starting over. The Turritopsis teaches us that the end is rarely truly the end. It is often just a transition, a shedding of the old to make room for the new. As the jellyfish pulses through the water, it moves with a grace that is older than the continents. It has witnessed the rise and fall of species, the shifting of magnetic poles, and the slow dance of the tectonic plates. And through it all, it simply continues, a tiny, translucent spark of life in the immense dark. Think of the vastness of the sea, covering more than 70% of our home. It is a liquid cathedral, a place of peace and mystery where the rules of the surface world no longer apply. In the depths, light fades into a soft, bioluminescent glow, the sparks of life communicating in a language of color and shadow. The immortal jellyfish is but one note in this grand, underwater symphony. It reminds us that life is not just a journey toward a destination, but a series of cycles, a constant unfolding of potential. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine the jellyfish rising once more from its polyp state. It is small, delicate, and perfectly formed. It catches the gentle currents, letting the ocean carry it where it needs to go. It does not fight the water, it becomes the water. It is a lesson in surrender, in trusting the flow of the universe to provide what is necessary for the next stage of the journey. The immortality of this creature is a mirror to the immortality of energy itself. Energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. We see this in the stars, we see it in the seasons, and we see it in the microscopic cells of a jellyfish in the Mediterranean. It is a comforting thought that nothing is ever truly lost. We are all part of a great, celestial recycling project, a dance of atoms and light that has been going on since the beginning of time. Let your thoughts drift like the tentacles of the Turritopsis, long and fine, swaying in the invisible currents of the deep. There is a profound safety in this cycle. To know that life has built-in mechanisms for renewal, that the earth itself is a self-healing organism, allows us to let go of our anxieties about the future. The same intelligence that guides the jellyfish back to its youth is the same intelligence that keeps your heart beating and the planets orbiting. You are held by these laws. You are a part of this ancient, rhythmic wisdom. In the silence of the ocean, the concept of a day or an hour loses its meaning. There is only the long now, the eternal present where life simply is. The jellyfish doesn't worry about how many times it has reborn. It doesn't count its cycles. It only knows the pulse, the water, and the quiet. We can learn much from this simplicity. By stripping away the layers of doing and becoming, we find the core of being that is indestructible. The deep sea is a place of immense pressure, yet the life there is not crushed. It is built to withstand the weight of miles of water because it is filled with the same pressure from within. It is in balance with its environment. As you find your own balance tonight, let the pressure of the day be equalized by the peace within you. You are strong enough to carry your world because you are a part of the world, not an observer standing outside of it. As the jellyfish continues its slow, rhythmic dance, we begin to realize that the ocean floor is not a graveyard, but a nursery. It is where the old becomes the new, where the fallen leaves of the sea provide the nutrients for the next generation of wonders. Everything is connected in a web of life that stretches across the globe and down through the depths. And as we move our gaze from the translucent pulse of the jellyfish on the ocean floor, we begin to see that this connection isn't just limited to the water. The earth beneath the waves rises to become the islands and continents we know. And there, the same spirit of cooperation and renewal takes on a different, yet equally miraculous form, hidden just beneath the soil of the ancient forests. Chapter 2. The Forest's Secret Whisper. As we leave the weightless, salt-kissed depths of the ocean behind, our consciousness drifts upward, passing through the shimmering surface tension and settling softly onto the damp, the mossy floor of an ancient woodland. The air here is different, thick with the scent of pine, wet earth, and the quiet breath of giants. Above us, the canopy weaves a complex tapestry of emerald and gold, filtering the moonlight into long, dusty beams that dance with every stir of the breeze. But the true masterpiece of this world is not what we see reaching for the stars. It is what lies hidden beneath our feet, stretching through the dark, cool silence of the soil. Take a deep breath of this forest air. Feel the grounding presence of the earth beneath you. While the forest above may seem like a collection of individual trees standing in silent competition for sunlight, the reality is far more beautiful and cooperative. Beneath the roots of every oak, every birch, and every ancient cedar, there exists a vast, invisible highway known as the Wood Wide Web. This is a sophisticated social network, a living intelligence formed by the partnership between trees and fungi. As you settle deeper into your rest, imagine these delicate, silver-white threads of mycelium. They are thinner than a human hair, yet they weave together the entire forest floor into a single, sentient organism. These fungal networks, or mycorrhiza, wrap themselves around the root tips of the trees, creating a bridge of trust. In exchange for the sugars the trees create through photosynthesis, the energy of the sun captured in liquid form, the fungi provide the trees with vital minerals and water drawn from the deepest crevices of the earth. It is a sacred trade, a cosmic balance of giving and receiving that has persisted for hundreds of millions of years. Through this network, the forest speaks. It is a slow, chemical conversation that moves at the pace of growth itself. When a young sapling is struggling in the deep shade of the canopy, unable to reach the light it needs to thrive, the older mother trees recognize its distress. Through the fungal threads, they send a pulse of carbon and nutrients to the sapling, nourishing it through the darkness like a parent comforting a child. It is a reminder that in the natural world, survival is not just about the strongest, it is about the most connected. Consider the silence of the forest at night. To our ears, it is still. But in the world of the roots, there is a constant hum of information. If a tree is being attacked by insects, it releases a chemical warning into the network. Within hours, the neighboring trees receive this signal and begin to bolster their own defenses, producing bitter tannins to ward off the invaders before they even arrive. They look out for one another, sharing resources and warnings across species lines. The birch helps the fir. The maple supports the cedar. There is no ego here, only the collective wisdom of the grove. As you lie there, feel your own connection to the world. Just as the trees are never truly alone, you are supported by invisible networks of your own. The air you breathe, the gravity that holds you, the quiet rhythm of the planet's rotation. There is a profound peace in realizing that you do not have to carry everything by yourself. The forest does not rush to grow. It trusts the network. It trusts the slow accumulation of seasons. The mycelium is the nervous system of the earth. It remembers. It senses the footsteps of animals, the shift in groundwater, and the arrival of the first frost, long before the leaves turn red. It is a master of patience. In the winter, when the trees stand bare and skeletal against the grey sky, the network remains active in the warm dark of the soil, keeping the spark of life flickering until the return of the sun. It is a testament to the fact that even in our darkest, most dormant moments, there is a hidden work being done, a preparation for the next bloom. Visualize the forest floor as a glowing map of light, where every tree is a node of energy connected by these shimmering fungal paths. It is a cosmic architecture mirrored in the neurons of our brains and the distribution of galaxies in the universe. The small mirrors the large. The soil mirrors the stars. The intelligence of the forest is a slow-motion reflection of the same laws that govern the motion of the planets. It is all one system, one long, slow breath. In the height of summer, the exchange of nutrients is a vibrant, bustling marketplace. But as autumn arrives, and the mother trees prepare to drop their leaves, they perform one last act of grace. They dump their remaining sugar reserves back into the network, distributing their life force to the younger generation and to the fungi that have served them so well. They let go of their outward beauty to ensure the inward survival of the whole. This graceful surrender is what allows the forest to return, year after year, century after century. When we walk through a forest, we are walking on top of a great library of memory. The mycelium holds the history of every rainfall, every drought, and every fire. It is an archive of resilience. And as we rest tonight, we can tap into that same sense of historical peace. Your body knows how to heal. Your mind knows how to find its way back to stillness. You are part of an ancient lineage of life that has mastered the art of persistence. The Wood Wide Web teaches us that there is no such thing as a self-made individual. Every towering redwood owes its height to the microscopic fungi at its feet. Every leaf is a debt to the soil. We are all part of a grand tapestry of interbeing. As you drift closer to sleep, let the boundaries of your own self soften. Feel the interconnectedness of your breath with the trees, of your blood with the ancient rains. You are a node in the cosmic network, perfectly placed, perfectly supported. The forest is a place where time slows down to the point of disappearing. A single fungal colony can live for thousands of years, outlasting empires and civilizations. It doesn't move fast, but it moves surely. It occupies the space between life and death, breaking down the old to create the rich humus for the new. It is the ultimate recycler, the quiet alchemist of the earth. In this space, there is no fear of the end, because the end is simply the beginning of the next cycle. Imagine the soft, bioluminescent glow of certain forest fungi at night. They cast a gentle, ghostly light on the bark of ancient trees, like tiny stars fallen to the ground. This light is not for us to see. It is part of a language we are only beginning to understand. It is a reminder that the world is full of mysteries that do not require our observation to be real. The forest thrives in its own quiet dignity, whether we are there to witness it or not. As the moonlight shifts and the shadows of the branches stretch across the ground, the forest enters a state of deep, collective meditation. The trees enter a period of rest, their metabolic processes slowing to a crawl. They are dreaming in wood and sap. You can join them in this rest. Allow your muscles to become as heavy as the roots of an old oak. Allow your thoughts to settle like fallen leaves, providing a rich, quiet bed for your subconscious to explore. There is a safety in the forest's darkness. It is a protective dark, like the womb of the earth. It is where seeds crack open, where roots find water, and where the network does its most vital work. We often fear the dark or the unknown, but the forest embraces it. It knows that the most profound growth happens where the light cannot reach. As we linger in this state of woodland peace, we begin to realize that the resilience of the forest is not just in its strength, but in its ability to adapt. If a path is blocked, the root grows around it. If a branch is broken, the tree seals the wound and grows anew. The forest is never finished. It is a continuous process of becoming. You, too, are a process. You are allowed to change, to adapt, and to grow in new directions. The secret whisper of the forest is a song of belonging. It tells us that we are home, wherever there is life. It tells us that the earth is not a cold rock in space, but a living, breathing, thinking mother. And as we listen to this whisper, the sound of the wind through the leaves begins to blend with the sound of our own heartbeat, a steady, comforting rhythm that carries us toward the edge of dreams. But the forest is only one layer of this planet's incredible story. While the trees and fungi work in slow harmony, there are other inhabitants of this world who operate on a scale so small and in conditions so extreme that they seem to belong to another dimension entirely. These are the tiny voyagers who can endure the silence of the void and the heat of the sun, waiting for their own moment to awaken. As the forest floor fades into the soft focus of our drifting minds, we prepare to shrink our perspective, moving from the towering heights of the canopy down into the microscopic crevices of a single drop of water, where the most resilient travelers on Earth are waiting to show us the true meaning of survival. Chapter 3. Wanderers of the Vacuum. As we depart from the sheltered, damp warmth of the forest floor, we begin to descend into a world that exists in the spaces between spaces. We are shrinking our perspective now, moving past the visible veins of the leaves and the silver threads of the mycelium, down into a single, microscopic bead of morning dew clinging to a patch of moss. Here, in this translucent sphere of water, we encounter a creature that challenges our very understanding of what it means to be alive. They are the tardigrades, the water bears, the tiny, eight-legged voyagers who have mastered the art of biological endurance. To the naked eye, they are invisible, yet they are everywhere. They are in the highest mountain peaks and the deepest ocean trenches. They are in the scorching sands of the desert and the frozen heart of the Antarctic. They are the ultimate survivors, tiny pioneers of the extreme. But their most incredible feat is not just where they live, but how they survive the impossible. When the world becomes too harsh, when the water dries up or the temperature drops to the absolute zero of the void, the tardigrade does something that feels less like biology and more like a cosmic ritual. It enters a state known as ton. Imagine a life that can simply press pause. In this state, the water bear sheds almost all the moisture from its body, curling into a dry, indestructible husk. Its metabolism slows to a point that is indistinguishable from death. It becomes a stone, a grain of dust, waiting in the silence. It can remain in this suspended animation for years, decades, or perhaps even longer, drifting through time as a passenger on the winds of change. It is a master of patience, a creature that has learned that sometimes the only way to survive the storm is to become the storm's shadow. But the most breathtaking secret of the tardigrade was discovered when we took them away from the Earth entirely. We placed these tiny wanderers into the airless, frozen vacuum of outer space, a place where the radiation is lethal and the pressure is non-existent. Any other life form would have perished in seconds. But the water bears simply waited. Exposed to the raw, unshielded glare of the sun and the biting cold of the cosmic void, they remained in their ton state, untroubled by the emptiness. When they were brought back to Earth and touched by a single drop of water, they uncurled, stretched their 8 tiny legs, and continued their lives as if the vacuum of space had been nothing more than a quiet afternoon nap. As you lie here, safe and warm, let the resilience of the water bear settle into your consciousness. It is a reminder that life is far tougher than we often give it credit for. There is a core within us, and within all living things, that is built to endure. The tardigrade doesn't fight the environment. It adapts its very state of being to match it. When the world is dry, it becomes dry. When the world is frozen, it accepts the cold. It is a profound lesson in the power of yielding. By not resisting the inevitable shifts of the universe, the water bear finds a way to outlast them. Think of the vast distances these creatures have traveled, perhaps hitchhiking on a piece of rock ejected from a planet, or drifting in the high atmosphere. They are the true citizens of the cosmos. They remind us that the boundaries we draw between Earth and space are perhaps more fluid than we imagine. Life is not a fragile accident clinging to a rock. It is a persistent force, a cosmic constant that finds a way to bloom in the most unlikely of places. Visualize the microscopic landscape of that single water drop. It is a vast ocean to the tardigrade, filled with strange peaks of moss and valleys of silt. In this world, time moves differently. A day is an age, a season is an eternity. And yet, there is no hurry. The water bear moves with a slow, deliberate gait, searching for the moss it calls home. Its life is simple, yet its mechanics are a marvel of biological engineering. It possesses a protein that acts like a protective shield for its DNA, a celestial armor that prevents the rays of the stars from tearing its genetic code apart. This protection is a gift from billions of years of evolution. It is as if the universe itself wanted to ensure that life had a witness even in the most desolate reaches of the void. As you breathe, feel that same protective energy within yourself. Your body is a vessel of ancient wisdom, a collection of trillions of cells that know exactly how to maintain the flame of life. You are made of the same resilient stuff as the water bear, forged in the same creative fires that allow a microscopic creature to survive the stars. The stillness of the tardigrade in its ton state is a reflection of the deep sleep we seek tonight. It is a state where the worries of the outside world cannot penetrate. In the ton, there is no hunger, no thirst, no fear. There is only the potential for life, tucked away in a safe, quiet corner of existence. You can allow your mind to enter its own version of this state, a place of total rest, where you are invulnerable to the stresses and demands of your waking life. Here, you are just a spark of consciousness, cradled in the soft dark of the night. The existence of these creatures suggests that life may be scattered throughout the galaxy, sleeping on icy moons or drifting in the dust of nebulae, just waiting for the right conditions to wake up. It is a comforting thought that the universe is not a cold, dead house, but a nursery filled with sleeping giants and tiny wonders. We are never truly alone in the dark. The tardigrade is a silent companion, a reminder that resilience is woven into the very fabric of reality. In the microscopic silence, there is a music that we cannot hear, the music of atoms and molecules arranging themselves into the patterns of life. The water bear is a master of this music. It knows when to sing and when to be silent. It knows that the sun will eventually return, that the rain will eventually fall, and that its patience will be rewarded. This trust in the cycles of the world is what allows it to endure the impossible. As we drift with the water bear, we see that size is no measure of significance. A creature the size of a dust mote can hold the secrets of immortality and space travel. It challenges our human ego, reminding us that we are part of a vast spectrum of life, each piece as important as the last. Whether we are a galaxy, a human, or a tardigrade, we are all governed by the same cosmic laws, all made of the same stardust, all searching for a place to belong. Consider the silence of the vacuum where the water bear once drifted. It is a silence so profound it would be terrifying if we were not so well equipped to handle it. The tardigrade wasn't afraid because it had surrendered its need for control. It let the void be the void. Tonight, you can let the silence of your room be your own personal void, a space of peace, not of emptiness. A space where you can let go of your identity and your burdens and simply exist as a presence in the dark. The water bear is a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the inanimate. In its dried state, it is essentially a mineral, yet the spark of life remains hidden within. It is a reminder that life is a persistent vibration, a frequency that can be lowered but never truly extinguished. This vibration is in you, too. It is the steady hum of your heart, the slow ebb and flow of your breath, the quiet electrical storms in your brain as you begin to dream. As the water bear waits for the moisture to return, we wait for the morning. But in this waiting, there is no anxiety. There is only the peaceful assurance that the world will continue to turn. The tardigrade has seen the sun rise and set for 500 million years. It has outlived the dinosaurs and the mammoths. It has watched the continents drift and the mountains rise. Its perspective is one of immense, quiet duration. We can borrow that perspective for a moment. In the grand timeline of the tardigrade, our daily worries are less than a flicker of light. The missed deadline, the awkward conversation, the flickering doubt, these are but shadows passing over the surface of a deep, ancient lake. Beneath the surface, the water is still. The life is safe. The core is untouched. As the image of the eight-legged wanderer begins to fade into the soft, velvet fog of your mind, you feel a sense of profound durability. You are built to last. You are designed to weather the seasons of your life with grace. The tiny water bear, drifting in its mossy drop or out among the stars, is a symbol of your own inner strength. But the tardigrade's journey is only possible because of the environment that cradles it. As we expand our gaze once more, leaving the microscopic drop and looking up at the vast blue sky above the forest, we realize that the very air we breathe, the oxygen that gives us life, and the water bears their vigor, has its own dramatic and unexpected history. The oxygen that feels so natural to us now was once a radical change, a transformation of the entire planet that paved the way for everything we see today. To understand our place in the cosmos, we must look back to a time when the atmosphere itself was a different kind of void, and life had to undergo its most breathtaking transformation yet to breathe the world into being. We move now from the microscopic traveler to the global breath, drifting away from the moss and into the swirling, ancient currents of the atmosphere, where the story of life's greatest gamble is waiting to be told. Chapter 4. The Breath of Deep Time. As we drift away from the microscopic resilience of the water bear, we lift our gaze from the damp moss and ascend through the cool evening mist. We are rising now, moving through the layers of the atmosphere that wrap our planet in a protective silken embrace. The air feels thin and sweet, an invisible ocean of gas that we often take for granted. But the oxygen you are breathing right now, the very fuel for your cells and the spark for your dreams, has a history that is as dramatic as any cosmic collision. To understand the air in your lungs, we must travel back across the vast stretches of deep time to a world that would be entirely unrecognizable to us today. Imagine an Earth billions of years ago. It is a planet of violet skies and orange oceans. There is no green here. The continents are barren reaches of black volcanic rock and red dust. And most importantly, there is no oxygen. The atmosphere is a heavy, suffocating mix of methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. If you were to stand on a shoreline in this ancient era, you would find no sound of birds, no rustle of leaves, only the relentless, rhythmic pounding of the tides under a sun that looked strangely dim through the hazy air. In this alien world, life was already beginning its long, patient work. Deep in the sunlit shallows of the primordial seas, tiny blue-green organisms, known as cyanobacteria, began to master a new craft: photosynthesis. They learned to capture the raw energy of the sun and use it to split water molecules, creating the energy they needed to grow. But this process had a byproduct, a waste gas that, at the time, was a lethal poison to almost every other living thing on the planet. That gas was oxygen. For millions of years, this oxygen didn't reach the atmosphere. It was immediately swallowed up by the minerals in the ocean. The iron in the water reacted with the new gas, creating vast deposits of rust that settled onto the seabed in beautiful, banded layers. It was as if the ocean itself was breathing in the oxygen and turning it into stone. But eventually, the sponges of the earth were full. The iron was exhausted. And then, the oxygen began to bubble up. It broke the surface of the waves and began to flood the sky. This was the Great Oxidation Event, the first and most significant climate change in the history of our world. To the dominant life forms of the time, this was a catastrophe. Oxygen was a violent element. It tore through organic molecules, breaking down the delicate chemistry of the early anaerobic organisms. It was a great poisoning that wiped out countless lineages of life. Yet, in the grand, slow-motion logic of the cosmos, this disaster was the necessary prelude to everything we know. Without this crisis, there would be no complexity. There would be no animals, no forests, and no consciousness to wonder at the stars. As you breathe in the quiet of your room, try to feel the weight of this history. Every breath is a legacy of that ancient struggle. The oxygen that once threatened life became the very thing that allowed life to break free from its microscopic chains. It provided a high-energy fuel that allowed cells to grow larger, to move faster, and eventually to band together into the complex organisms we see today. We are, in a very real sense, the children of a global catastrophe that turned out to be a miracle. The sky transformed from a hazy orange to the brilliant, scattered blue we recognize. The air became a reservoir of potential energy. As the levels of oxygen stabilized, the world began to cool. The methane that had kept the planet warm was stripped away, leading to the first great ice ages, the snowball Earth periods, where the entire planet was encased in a shell of white. Life retreated to the depths, to the volcanic vents where the warmth of the Earth's core offered sanctuary. And even there, in the dark and the cold, the oxygen-rich water continued to circulate, feeding the slow fires of evolution. Think of the patience of the planet. It took billions of years for the atmosphere to find its balance. It was a slow, atmospheric dance of chemistry and biology, a conversation between the rocks and the sky. This reminds us that the challenges we face, the periods of upheaval and change in our own lives, are often the catalysts for a new kind of growth. Just as the Earth had to endure the Great Oxidation Event to become a garden, we often have to endure our own internal shifts to find our true potential. Visualize the planet as a breathing lung. The forests are the alveoli, the oceans are the blood, and the atmosphere is the spirit that connects it all. There is a profound stability in this system now. The oxygen level remains at a steady 21%, just enough to sustain the fires of life without letting the world burst into flame. It is a Goldilocks atmosphere, perfectly tuned by the collective work of every leaf, every blade of grass, and every microscopic cell in the sea. In the stillness of the night, the world is still breathing. While you sleep, the trees are continuing their silent exchange. They are exhaling the very air you will need when you wake. There is no invoice for this service, no demand for recognition. It is a gift of the network, a continuation of the contract, signed by the cyanobacteria 3 billion years ago. You are part of this cycle. You are not just living on the Earth. You are a part of the Earth's breathing apparatus. Let the rhythm of your own breathing slow down to match the ancient pulse of the planet. In and out. The same molecules of oxygen you are inhaling may have once been exhaled by a dinosaur, or trapped in the ice of a forgotten glacier, or released by a fern in a prehistoric swamp. This air is a physical connection to every being that has ever lived. It is the common thread of the biosphere, a cosmic soup that we all share. There is a deep comfort in this continuity. The air doesn't remember the chaos of the great oxidation. It only holds the harmony of the present. It is a reminder that healing is possible, that balance can be restored, and that even the most toxic of circumstances can be transformed into the very breath of life. As you drift closer to the threshold of sleep, feel the air as a soft, cool silk against your skin. It is the planet's way of holding you, of telling you that you are nourished, you are protected, and you are home. The story of oxygen is a story of resilience through transformation. It teaches us that what feels like an end is often just a change in state. The anaerobic world ended, so the aerobic world could begin. The orange sky faded, so the blue could shine. We are constantly moving through these thresholds. Tonight, you are moving through the threshold between the waking world and the world of dreams. You are letting go of the heavy atmosphere of the day and entering the lighter, more fluid air of the subconscious. As we linger in this high, airy perspective, looking down at the blue marble of the earth, we see the green of the land and the blue of the sea. We see the patterns of life that oxygen has made possible. And as our gaze wanders over the continents, we are drawn to the edges, to the places where life has to work a little harder, where the environment is less forgiving, and where the struggle for survival has produced the most ingenious and beautiful adaptations. Down there, in the mist-shrouded swamps and nutrient-poor bogs, there are plants that have found a way to thrive, not just by breathing the air, but by reaching out to touch the world in a way no other plant does. They have turned the tables on the animal kingdom, becoming the hunters in a world of leaves. As we begin our descent from the high atmosphere, moving back toward the surface where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and sweet nectar, we prepare to meet these clever, patient sentinels. We are leaving the grand scale of the atmosphere to focus on the intricate, deadly beauty of the hunters in the green. The air carries us down, a soft current of memory and life, settling us gently into the heart of a swamp where the shadows are long and the secrets are many. Chapter 5. The Patient Hunters. As we descend from the high, oxygen-rich currents of the atmosphere, we find ourselves drifting toward the emerald heart of a mist-shrouded wetland. Here, the air is heavy with the scent of peat and the damp, sweet breath of the bog. The world slows down. The towering trees of the forest have given way to low-lying mosses, dark water, and patches of sunlight that struggle to pierce through the thick, white fog. In this quiet, nutrient-poor corner of the earth, the rules of survival have taken a strange and beautiful turn. We are entering the domain of the patient hunters, the carnivorous plants. Imagine a world where the green does not just feed on light, but reaches out to touch the animal kingdom, in a silent, deadly dance. In most of the world, plants are the foundation of the food chain, the passive givers of life. But here, in the acidic soil of the swamp, the earth is hungry. The nitrogen and phosphorus necessary for growth are scarce, washed away by the constant presence of water. To survive, life has had to innovate. It has had to evolve a bridge between the botanical and the predatory. As you settle deeper into your rest, visualize the Venus flytrap, perhaps the most iconic of these green sentinels. It sits low to the ground, its leaves transformed into delicate, jaw-like structures fringed with long, hair-like teeth. It does not move with the frantic energy of a wolf or the swift strike of a hawk. It moves with the absolute patience of the cosmos. It is a master of the long wait. It can sit for days, perfectly still, its traps open like the pages of an inviting book, waiting for a wandering insect to find its way into its embrace. But the flytrap is more than just a passive trap. It is a biological computer. Inside its lobes are tiny, sensitive trigger hairs. If a fly lands and touches just one hair, nothing happens. The plant is too wise to waste its energy on a false alarm, a falling raindrop, or a stray piece of debris. But if that insect moves and touches a second hair within 20 seconds, the trap snaps shut in less than a blink of an eye. It is one of the fastest movements in the entire plant kingdom. A sudden burst of kinetic energy fueled by the same electrical signals that move through our own nervous systems. Think of the precision required for such a feat. In a world without a brain, without muscles, and without eyes, the plant has mastered the art of counting and timing. It is a reminder that intelligence is not the sole property of the animal world. There is a quiet, rhythmic intelligence in the leaves and the roots, a way of knowing the world that is different from our own, yet equally effective. As you breathe, feel the stillness of your own body. Like the flytrap, you can find strength in your quietude. You don't always need to be in motion to be powerful. Sometimes, the most profound acts occur in the moments of total stillness. Next to the flytrap, we find the sundews, low clusters of leaves covered in what looks like morning dew. But these are not droplets of water. They are beads of a sticky, glistening mucilage that shines like diamonds in the pale swamp light. To an insect, they look like a source of sweet nectar, a celestial treasure. But as soon as a wing or a leg touches the bead, they are caught. The sundew doesn't snap shut. It slowly, almost tenderly, curls its leaf around the prey. It is a slow-motion embrace, a quiet unfolding of destiny that takes hours to complete. In the stillness of the bog, this process is a form of slow alchemy. The plant releases enzymes that break down the insect, turning life into the very nutrients the soil cannot provide. It is a closed loop of energy, a sacred exchange. The insect, which lived on the plants, now returns its essence to the green. In the cosmic perspective, nothing is stolen. It is simply reassigned. The atoms of the fly become the atoms of the flower. This cycle of life and death is not a tragedy. It is the fundamental rhythm of our planet, a constant recycling of stardust. Further into the mist, we encounter the pitcher plants. These are the graceful architects of the swamp. Their leaves have grown into tall, elegant vases, often painted in deep purples and vibrant reds to mimic the appearance of flesh or flowers. They use the scent of nectar to lure their guests to the rim of the pitcher. The rim is slicker than ice, coated in a microscopic wax that offers no grip. With a single slip, the visitor falls into a pool of digestive fluid at the bottom. There is a profound lesson in the design of the pitcher plant. It is an organism that has learned to use gravity as a tool. It doesn't need to move at all. It simply creates the space and lets the laws of physics do the rest. As you lie in your bed, feel the gravity holding you safely against the earth. Like the water at the bottom of the pitcher, you are being cradled by a force that is constant and unwavering. You can let go of the need to do and simply be, trusting that the laws of the universe are enough to support your existence. The swamp at night is a place of deep, atmospheric peace. The hunters are at rest, their traps set, their spirits aligned with the rotation of the earth. There is no malice in their predation. They are simply part of the intricate balance of the biosphere. They remind us that even in the most difficult environments where the soil is sour and the light is dim, life finds a way to thrive. It adapts. It changes its form. It finds new ways to nourish itself. Visualize the water of the bog, dark and still as a mirror. It reflects the stars above, blurring the line between the earth and the heavens. In this reflection, the carnivorous plants seem like terrestrial stars, their glowing beads of nectar mimicking the distant nebulae. We are all made of the same ancient materials, whether we are the stars in the sky, the insect on the wing, or the leaf in the mud. We are all participating in the same grand experiment of consciousness. The patience of these plants is a cosmic virtue. In our human world, we are often rushed, pushed by clocks and deadlines, constantly moving toward the next goal. But the flytrap and the sundew live in a different kind of time, a biological time where success is measured by the ability to wait. They teach us that there is a time for action and a time for silence. By embracing the silence, we prepare ourselves for the moments when action is truly required. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the mist thickening around you, a soft, white blanket that mutes all sound. You are safe in this green sanctuary. The patient hunters are your companions in the quiet. They are guardians of the swamp, symbols of the infinite creativity of nature. Their beauty is a testament to the fact that even the most challenging circumstances can produce something exquisite. In the depths of the night, the swamp breathes with you. The mosses soak up the moisture. The pitchers hold the rainwater. The flytraps wait in the dark. There is a sense of profound order here. Every organism has its place, its role, and its rhythm. You have your place too. You belong to this world as much as the most ancient tree or the tiniest spore. You are a part of the tapestry, a thread of light woven into the dark. Consider the energy of the sun that was captured by these plants during the day. It is still there, stored in their tissues, a quiet battery of life. Even the hunters rely on the light. They are a bridge between the celestial and the terrestrial, the sun and the soil. As you rest, your own batteries are recharging. The energy you spent during the day is being replenished by the stillness of the night. You are undergoing your own slow alchemy, turning the experiences of the day into the wisdom of the dreams to come. The stillness of the hunters is a form of meditation. They are perfectly present in their environment. They don't worry about the insects they haven't caught yet, nor do they mourn the ones that got away. They exist in the eternal now. We can strive for that same presence. By letting go of the past and the future, we find the only moment that truly exists, this moment of breath, this moment of rest. As the image of the mist-shrouded bog begins to fade, replaced by a deep, indigo void, we realize that we are more than just our physical bodies. We are communities of life, vast ecosystems contained within a single skin. Just as the bog is a collection of interconnected lives, we are a collection of trillions of cells, each with its own history and its own purpose. We are moving now from the macroscopic hunters of the swamp to the microscopic world within ourselves. We are shrinking our perspective one last time, turning our gaze inward to the hidden civilization that calls our bodies home. The swamp was a community of green and gold. We are a community of light and shadow, a walking universe of microscopic wonders. The air remains cool and sweet as we leave the patient hunters behind, drifting into the deep, quiet spaces of our own biology, where the final secrets of our earthly existence are waiting to be revealed in the soft, rhythmic pulse of our own hearts. Chapter 6. The Universe Within. As we drift away from the mist-shrouded swamp and the patient, green sentinels of the bog, we begin a journey that is perhaps the most mysterious of all. We are not traveling across light years to distant nebulae, nor are we descending into the crushing depths of the midnight zone. Instead, we are turning our gaze inward, crossing the threshold of the skin to explore the vast, hidden civilization that exists within the boundaries of your own body. This is the story of the microbiome, the trillions of microscopic lives that call you home. It is a revelation that challenges the very idea of where you end and the rest of the world begins. In the quiet of this moment, as your heart maintains its steady, rhythmic pulse, you might think of yourself as a single, solitary individual. But in the eyes of biology, you are a walking ecosystem, a sentient planet teeming with life. For every one of your human cells, there are at least as many bacterial cells living on your skin, in your mouth, and deep within your gut. You are a biological mosaic, a complex community of light and shadow, and without this invisible workforce, the life you know would simply be impossible. Imagine shrinking your perspective once more, passing through the microscopic pores of your skin and entering the warm, vibrant landscapes of your interior. Here, in the dark, coiled reaches of the digestive system, lives a civilization more diverse and populous than any city on Earth. There are thousands of different species of bacteria, fungi, and ancient microbes, each with its own history, its own specialty, and its own role to play in the maintenance of your well-being. They are not invaders, they are your oldest companions, a legacy of billions of years of coevolution. As you breathe, feel the harmony of this internal world. These microbes are the master alchemists of your body. They break down the complex fibers you cannot digest, turning them into vital vitamins and signaling molecules that communicate directly with your brain. They are the frontline guardians of your immune system, training your cells to distinguish between a friend and a foe. There is a constant chemical conversation happening beneath your awareness, a dialogue of molecules that influences your moods, your energy levels, and even the nature of your dreams. Think of the profound humility in this realization. We often pride ourselves on our autonomy, our independence, and our self. But the truth is more beautiful and more cooperative. We are a holobiont, a host, and its many residents, working together in a seamless, cosmic partnership. You are never truly alone, for you carry an entire universe of life within you. This inner world follows the same laws of balance and diversity that we see in the forests and the oceans. When the community is in harmony, the planet which is you thrives. In the silence of the night, while you rest, this internal city is at its most active. Your microbes are busy repairing the lining of your gut, synthesizing serotonin to regulate your sleep cycles, and processing the experiences of the day. They operate on a clock that is older than the sun, a circadian rhythm that connects your internal biology to the rotation of the Earth. As you lie there, you can trust in this quiet, automated wisdom. You do not need to manage these trillions of lives. They know exactly what to do. They have been doing it since the first multicellular organisms emerged from the primordial seas. Visualize these microscopic inhabitants as tiny sparks of light moving through the dark, fluid corridors of your body. They are like the stars of a galaxy, each one a vital point in a vast, interconnected network. In this perspective, the boundaries of the self begin to blur. Are you the host, or are you the community, or are you the relationship between the two? This fluidity is a source of great peace. It reminds us that we are part of the flow of life, not separate from it. We are a collaborative effort of the universe. The history of your microbiome is a history of the Earth itself. You inherit your first microbes from your mother, a biological baton passed down through an unbroken chain of life, reaching back to the beginning of time. These strains of bacteria have survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and mass extinctions. They are the ultimate survivors, carrying the genetic memory of how to live on this planet. When you feel a sense of gut instinct, it may be the collective wisdom of these ancient residents speaking to you in a language older than words. Consider the resilience of this internal ecosystem. It is constantly being challenged by the world outside, yet it has an incredible capacity to heal and return to balance. This is the same resilience we saw in the immortal jellyfish and the tiny water bear. It is the signature of life. No matter what stresses or toxins you encounter, your inner world is always striving for equilibrium. Tonight, as you descend into sleep, you are giving this world the time and space it needs to restore itself. You are letting the planet of your body experience its own quiet, restorative night. In the microscopic dark, there is no judgment, no ego, and no anxiety. There is only the drive to persist, to cooperate, and to thrive. The microbes do not compete in a way that destroys the whole. They specialize so that the whole can survive. One species might process nitrogen, while another breaks down sugars, and another produces protective acids. It is a masterpiece of social organization, a blueprint for how life can exist in harmony. We can learn much from our own biology, how to find our place in the network, and how to contribute to the balance of our surroundings. As your mind wanders through these internal landscapes, feel the soft, rhythmic hum of your existence. Each cell in your body is a marvel of engineering, a tiny factory of light and energy. Within each cell are the mitochondria, ancient bacteria that, millions of years ago, chose to live inside our ancestors' cells in exchange for protection. They are the power plants of your life, the reason you can breathe and move. You are, quite literally, made of partnerships. You are a walking testament to the power of cooperation over competition. This realization brings a sense of profound belonging. If you are a community, then you are always connected to the web of life. The atoms that make up your microbes today might have been part of a tree yesterday, or a cloud, or a star. The borders of your skin are porous to the universe. You are constantly exhaling yourself into the world and inhaling the world into yourself. This is the cosmic breath, the great exchange that makes the Earth a single, living organism. As you drift closer to the threshold of dreams, imagine the trillions of microscopic lives within you, settling into their own nightly rhythms. The noise of the day, the digestion of food, the reaction to stress, the movement of the body is fading away, replaced by the slow, steady work of maintenance and repair. You are a vessel of light, being polished from the inside out. There is a deep biological safety in this process. You are being looked after by the most sophisticated healthcare system in existence. Life itself. The stillness of the microbiome in the night is a reflection of the stillness of the stars. In the micro and the macro, the same principles of order and emergence are at work. From the simple interactions of bacteria, complex consciousness emerges. From the simple gravity of atoms, galaxies are born. You are the bridge between these scales, a being large enough to hold a universe of microbes, yet small enough to be cradled by the hand of the cosmos. Let this thought be the final weight that pulls you down into the velvet dark. You are more than enough. You are a vast, thriving, beautiful world. You are a masterpiece of biological collaboration. You are a sanctuary for life. As your heart rate slows and your brain waves lengthen into the long, rhythmic patterns of deep sleep, you are surrendering to the wisdom of your trillions of companions. They will keep the fires burning. They will guard the gates. They will prepare you for the new day. But even this internal universe, as vast and complex as it is not the whole story. The resilience we find in our cells and our microbes is a shadow of a much larger resilience, a persistence that has seen the Earth through fires, floods, and the darkness of extinction. Our individual lives are short, but the thread of life we carry is ancient and unbreakable. As we leave the microscopic civilization of the interior, moving back out through the skin and into the cool air of the night, we prepare to look back at the grand history of our planet. We have seen the individual survivors and the internal communities, but now we must witness the endurance of the whole. We are moving toward the final chapter of our earthly journey, where the story of life's many endings and its one persistent beginning awaits us in the echoes of the deep past. The air is still, the room is quiet, and the inner universe is at peace as we turn the page to the final, enduring legacy of life on Earth. Chapter 7. The Unbroken Thread. As we emerge from the microscopic warmth of our own inner civilization, we expand our perspective once more, rising above the individual and the cellular to gaze upon the grand, sweeping arc of time that defines our planet. We have traveled through the deep oceans, the connected forests, and the air that sustains us. But now, we must confront the most humbling fact of all, the staggering resilience of the whole. Life on Earth is not a fragile accident. It is an unbroken thread, a persistent vibration that has survived the most violent upheavals the cosmos could throw at it. To understand where we stand tonight, we must look back at the moments when the world almost ended and realize that each time, life did not just survive, it transformed. Imagine the Earth not as a static rock, but as a living, breathing archive of endurance. For nearly 4 billion years, the spark of life has been passed from one organism to the next, a relay race of genetic memory that has never once been fully extinguished. Across this immense span of time, our home has faced 5 great mortal wounds, the mass extinctions that wiped out the majority of species living at the time. Yet, here we are, breathing the air and watching the stars. This is the story of the unbroken thread, the quiet, cosmic stubbornness of biology. As you settle into the soft stillness of your bed, let your mind drift back to the first of these great trials. Hundreds of millions of years ago, the oceans, the cradle of all life, began to cool and the oxygen levels plummeted. Massive glaciers marched across the continents, and the vibrant reef communities of the ancient seas vanished into the dark. It was a period of silence and cold. Yet, in the deep crevices and the volcanic vents, life held its breath. It waited, it simplified. And when the ice finally retreated, it didn't just return, it exploded into new forms, moving from the water to the land, inventing the first lungs and the first sturdy limbs. This is the pattern of our planet, a cycle of destruction followed by an even more magnificent creation. We often fear endings, but in the cosmic scale, an ending is merely a clearing of the stage. Consider the most famous of these transitions, the day the sky fell 65 million years ago. A mountain of rock, 10 kilometers wide, hurtled through the atmosphere and struck the turquoise waters of the Yucatan. The impact was equivalent to billions of Hiroshima bombs. The world was plunged into a winter of soot and ash that lasted for years. The giants of that age, the magnificent dinosaurs, could not survive the sudden, freezing dark. But look closer at the charred earth of that era. Deep in the burrows, small, furry creatures, with racing hearts and a penchant for the shadows, were huddling together for warmth. These were our ancestors, the early mammals. They were small enough to survive on very little, and flexible enough to adapt to a world without sun. When the dust finally settled and the first rays of sunlight touched the earth again, the world belonged to the small, the patient, and the resilient. The death of the old world was the birth of our own. The thread was pulled tight, but it did not break. As you listen to the quiet rhythm of the night, feel the weight of this lineage. You are a descendant of survivors. Every ancestor of yours, reaching back to the first single-celled organism in the primordial soup, was successful. They all lived long enough to pass the thread to the next generation. They survived asteroid impacts, volcanic winters, shifting continents, and ice ages. You carry that strength in your very marrow. The resilience of the Earth is not something outside of you. It is the very fabric of your being. You are built from the blueprints of the undefeatable. The Earth has been through 5 of these great dyings, and some scientists say we are currently witnessing a 6th. But the lesson of deep time is one of profound hope. Life is not a guest on this planet. It is the master of it. It has learned how to process radiation, how to turn poison into breath, and how to find energy in the dark. The unbroken thread is woven into the rocks themselves. We find the signatures of ancient life in the highest peaks of the Himalayas, which were once the bottom of a sea, and in the deepest drills of the Antarctic ice. Visualize the planet as a glowing sphere of interconnected energy. When a part of the web is torn, the rest of the threads vibrate and begin to weave a new pattern. This is the Gaia principle, the idea that the Earth is a self-regulating organism that maintains the conditions for its own survival. It is a slow, planetary wisdom that operates on a scale we can barely imagine. Our individual lives are like single pulses in a heartbeat that lasts for billions of years. In this perspective, there is no need for panic or despair. The heartbeat continues, the thread holds. In the silence of your room, try to sense the slow movement of the continents. They are drifting at the same speed your fingernails grow, a tectonic dance that has reshaped the face of the Earth dozens of times. Mountains rise and are ground back into dust. Oceans open and close like eyelids. Through all of this, the spirit of life remains constant. It is the one thing that the passage of time cannot erode. It is the ever-becoming, the flame that never goes out. Think of the Lazarus species creatures we thought were lost to the depths of time, only to find them thriving in some hidden corner of the world. The coelacanth, a fish with limb-like fins, was thought to have gone extinct with the dinosaurs until a living specimen was pulled from the waters off the coast of Africa. It had been swimming in the dark, unchanged, for 60 million years. It is a reminder that the Earth keeps secrets. It holds onto its treasures, waiting for the right moment to reveal that nothing is ever truly gone. This continuity is a source of deep, existential safety. We are part of a story that has no end. Even if the human form were to change or vanish in the distant future, the life force we carry would find a new expression. The atoms that compose your body tonight have been part of a million other stories before they found their way to you. They have been the scales of a fish, the leaf of a fern, the wing of a dragonfly, and the dust of a volcano. They are immortal atoms, borrowed from the earth and destined to return to it. As you drift towards sleep, let go of the fragility you might feel in your daily life. The small worries of the day, the emails, the deadlines, the social frictions are like ripples on the surface of a vast, deep ocean of time. Below those ripples, the unbroken thread is steady and strong. You are anchored to a history that is 4 billion years old. You are supported by a planet that has mastered the art of survival. You can afford to rest because the system you belong to is infinitely capable. The darkness of the night is not an end. It is a restorative pause, much like the ton state of the water bear or the winter dormancy of the forest. It is a time for the thread to be reinforced. While you sleep, your DNA, the physical manifestation of the unbroken thread, is being checked and repaired by silent molecular machines. Your memories are being woven into the long-term tapestry of your mind. You are participating in the ancient ritual of renewal that has kept life vibrant since the beginning. Imagine the Earth as a grand, cosmic loom. The warp and weft of the thread are made of carbon, nitrogen, and light. Every species is a different color in the fabric, and though some colors may fade or change, the weaving never stops. You are a unique, beautiful stitch in that fabric. You are where the thread of the past meets the possibility of the future. By simply existing, by breathing and dreaming, you are fulfilling your cosmic role. The resilience of life is a testament to the fact that the universe is pro-life. The laws of physics and chemistry, as complex as they are, seem to conspire to allow complexity and consciousness to emerge. The unbroken thread is a golden line of intent that runs from the first spark in the dark to the very thoughts you are having now. As the image of the ancient, resilient earth begins to blur into the soft indigo of your subconscious, you feel a sense of profound belonging. You are not a stranger here. You are the latest expression of an ancient energy. You are the survivor of 1,000 apocalypses and the herald of 1,000 dawns. The thread is in your hands now, and it is strong, warm, and pulsing with life. But where did this thread begin? We have seen its strength on Earth, but the materials it is made of, the very elements of our bones and our breath, did not originate in the soil or the sea. To find the true origin of the unbroken thread, we must look beyond the atmosphere, beyond the blue marble, and out into the crushing, creative heat of the stars. We are moving now from the history of the planet to the history of the cosmos itself. The journey of the thread leads us back into the light of ancient suns, where the story of life's resilience is revealed to be a story of stellar sacrifice. As we leave the Earth behind, we prepare to enter the final, most majestic chapter of our journey, where we discover that we are not just inhabitants of the universe, we are the universe made manifest. The stars are calling us home, and the air of the Earth is turning into the stardust of the void as we drift into the final, glowing truth of our existence. Chapter 8. Forged in the Hearts of Stars. As we stand upon the threshold of the deep past, watching the golden thread of life weave its way through the extinctions and rebirths of our planet, we find ourselves asking the ultimate question of our origin. We have looked at the oceans, the forests, and the microscopic universes within us. We have seen how life persists against all odds. But where did the building blocks of this persistence come from? To find the answer, we must leave the comforting green and blue of the Earth behind. We must rise through the atmosphere, past the moon, and drift out into the great, silent cathedral of the cosmos. For the final truth of our existence is written not in the soil, but in the stars. Every atom in your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon that forms the basis of your very cells, was once part of a star. You are not merely an observer of the universe. You are a piece of the universe that has become conscious of itself. This is the most profound fact of our reality. We are made of stardust. The journey of your atoms began billions of years before the Earth was even a whisper of dust in a protoplanetary disk. It began in the crushing heat and blinding light of ancient suns that lived and died long before our own sun was born. Imagine the interior of a massive star, millions of times larger than our Earth. Here, gravity is so intense that it squeezes atoms together in a process called nuclear fusion. In the early days of the universe, there were only the simplest elements, hydrogen and helium. But inside these stellar furnaces, the universe began to cook. Hydrogen atoms were fused into helium, releasing the light and heat that make stars shine. As the star aged, it began to fuse heavier and heavier elements. It created carbon, the backbone of life. It created oxygen, which we breathe. It created nitrogen, which builds our DNA. But the process did not stop there. In its final, most majestic moments, a massive star creates the heaviest elements, like iron. This is a turning point. The fusion of iron does not release energy, it consumes it. In a heartbeat, the balance that held the star together for millions of years is lost. The outward pressure of light ceases, and gravity wins the ultimate tug of war. The star collapses inward at a fraction of the speed of light, and then, in a cosmic rebound of unimaginable power, it explodes. This is a supernova, the most violent and creative event in the cosmos. In that single, brilliant flash, which can outshine an entire galaxy, the star scatters its treasures into the void. All the elements it spent its life creating are flung across the darkness. The gold in your jewelry, the silver in the mountains, and the iron in your veins were all forged in the heart of a dying star. Without the death of these ancient suns, the elements necessary for life would remain trapped forever in the centers of stars. Their sacrifice is the reason you are here tonight. The universe had to die in parts so that it could live in others. As you lie in the stillness of the dark, feel the connection between your body and the distant constellations. The same gravity that pulls on the stars is pulling on you, keeping you tethered to this world. The atoms in your left hand may have come from a different star than the atoms in your right hand. You are a cosmic mosaic, a collection of light elements that have traveled across the vastness of space and time to find their way into the shape of a human being. There is a deep, resonant peace in knowing that you belong to the stars. You are not a stranger in a cold vacuum. You are a child of the celestial fire. Think of the patience of the cosmos. It took billions of years for the debris of those ancient supernovas to settle into a new cloud of gas and dust. This cloud, rich with the heavy elements of dead stars, eventually began to collapse under its own weight. At the center, a new star ignited our Sunday, and around it, the leftover dust clumped together to form the planets. The Earth is made of recycled stardust. Every mountain, every ocean, and every living creature is a reincarnation of stellar material. The thread of life we have tracked through Earth's history is actually a thread of light that reaches back to the very first stars that ever twinkled in the dark. This realization shifts our perspective on what it means to be natural. We often think of technology or cities as artificial, but they are just as much a part of the universe's evolution as a nebula or a galaxy. We are the universe's way of looking back at itself and saying, "Look at what I have made." Every thought you have, every dream you remember, is the universe experiencing itself through the medium of your mind. In the slow cosmic narration of our existence, you are a vital stanza in an eternal poem. Visualize the dark matter that holds galaxies together, the invisible web of the cosmos. Just as the mycelium connects the trees in a forest, this cosmic web connects the galaxies. We are part of a structure so vast that we can only see a tiny fraction of it, but even in our smallness, we are significant. The iron in your blood is doing the same work here on Earth as it does in the core of a red giant. The laws of physics are universal. There is nowhere in the cosmos where you would be an outsider, because the same elements and the same laws are everywhere. As you breathe, imagine the oxygen molecules entering your bloodstream. Those molecules were born in the heart of a star that died 5 billion years ago. They have traveled through the void, been part of the Earth's early atmosphere, been exhaled by ancient plants, and now they are giving you the energy to dream. This is the ultimate recycling. When we die, we do not disappear. We simply return our atoms to the Earth and eventually to the stars, where they will be used to create something new. The thread is never cut, it just changes color. The silence of the universe is not the silence of a void, but the silence of a deep, creative meditation. Out there, in the dark, new stars are being born in the pillars of gas. New planets are forming. Somewhere, perhaps, another being is looking up at their own night sky and wondering about their origin. We are all part of the same cosmic story, a story of light emerging from darkness, of complexity emerging from simplicity, and of life emerging from the cold ashes of the past. There is no need for fear when we understand our stellar heritage. The universe has been taking care of your atoms for 13 billion years. It has guided them through the hearts of stars, through the cold of space, through the formation of the Earth, and through the long history of biological evolution. You are the result of a perfectly executed plan that has never failed. You can trust the cosmos to take care of you tonight. You are held by the same forces that hold the galaxies in their spiral arms. Let the weight of your body feel like the weight of a planet. Let your mind be as expansive as the interstellar void. In this state of cosmic consciousness, the boundaries of your daily life dissolve. The stress of the day is a tiny flicker in the life of a star. Your identity as a person with a name and a history is a beautiful, fleeting mask worn by the stardust that composes you. Beneath the mask, you are the ancient energy of the Big Bang, still vibrating, still unfolding, still becoming. As the light of the stars seems to pulse in time with your heartbeat, feel the profound stillness of the night. This is the same stillness that existed before the first stars were born, a space of infinite potential. In your sleep, you are returning to that potential. You are dipping back into the source of all things, replenishing the spark that was forged in the stellar fire. When you wake, you will carry a little bit of that stardust with you into the world, a silent reminder of your true home. The journey we have taken tonight from the immortal jellyfish in the deep sea to the stars in the deep sky is a circle. We began with life returning to its youth, and we end with the universe returning to its origins. It is all one system, one unbroken flow of energy and light. You are a ripple in that flow, a beautiful, unique wave on the surface of an infinite ocean. As the final thoughts of the cosmos begin to fade into the soft, rhythmic hum of your breathing, you realize that you are ready. The stardust is heavy in your limbs, the cosmic silence is loud in your ears, and the heart of the universe is beating in your chest. You have traveled far, but you have never left home. The earth is your cradle, but the stars are your kin. And so, as the indigo velvet of the night wraps around you like the shroud of a nebula, we reach the end of our spoken journey. The facts of life and the wonders of the cosmos have been laid out before you, not to be studied, but to be felt. You are a child of the earth and a citizen of the stars. You are resilient, you are connected, and you are eternal. As we drift into the final stillness, leaving the words behind and entering the wordless world of dreams, the sound of the universe remains a low, comforting vibration that will carry you through the night. The story of life continues, and you are its most precious narrator. Sleep now, and let the stars watch over their own. Our journey through the quiet wonders of our world and the burning hearts of the stars has reached its conclusion. We have traveled from the microscopic to the infinite, from the deep past of an orange sky to the eternal cycle of the immortal jellyfish. We have seen how the forest whispers through the soil and how your own body is a thriving, breathing universe of its own. But now, the time for seeking and the time for wondering has come to an end. The stars we spoke of are still there, watching over the night, but their light is now a soft, warm blanket, inviting you to let go of the last remnants of the day. Take a deep, slow breath, feeling the stardust in your lungs one final time. As you exhale, imagine your thoughts as autumn leaves, drifting down from the canopy of your mind and settling softly onto the damp, quiet earth. There is no more information to process, no more mysteries to solve. The universe is perfectly capable of continuing its grand dance without your watchfulness. The planets will stay in their orbits, the trees will continue their silent conversation, and the cells within you will keep their faithful vigil while you rest. You have fulfilled your role for today. You have been a witness to the beauty of existence, and now your only task is to find peace. Feel the weight of your body becoming one with the bed, a gentle gravity that tethers you to the turning earth. You are safe in this stillness. The darkness is not an empty void, but a restorative sanctuary, a place where your spirit can drift back to the source of all things. Like the water bear in its quiet sleep or the jellyfish returning to its youth, you are entering a state of pure renewal. In this space, time has no meaning. There is only the long, slow hum of the cosmos, a lullaby played on the strings of physics and light. If you found comfort in our journey tonight, I invite you once more to subscribe and stay a part of our quiet community. It is a joy to share these cosmic paths with you. But for now, let the sound of my voice fade into the background of your consciousness. Let the indigo and violet shadows of the night press gently against your eyelids. You are a child of the stars, resting in the cradle of the earth, and everything is exactly as it should be. The thread of life is strong, the night is kind, and the universe is waiting for you in your dreams. Sink down, drift away, and let sleep take you home. Good night, and peace be with you.